Obviously the title says, is it worth it? Let me show you. That is the answer to, is the DJI MAVIC Air still worth buying in 2019? No. Throw it in the bin, throw it in the trash, throw it in the garbage. It's not worth it. I'm just kidding. That was actually my old drone, which I've crashed, and there was just the case for it. The video will be linked here. Let me show you. There is the brand new DJI MAVIC Air that I've just purchased, my second one now, and in today's video, as you can tell by the title, I'm going to be telling you if it is worth it. Let's just get into this though. Right, so to answer the question of whether the DJI MAVIC Air is still worth buying in 2019, I'm going to look at some of the positives and some of the negatives and compare it to some other drones and potentially some potential drones coming out later this year. So let's just jump straight into the points. Okay, so the first point is price versus quality. And what I mean by that is there's obviously a lot of other drones that DJI make. I'm going to be focusing on DJI drones only in this video, but there are a lot of other drones that they do make, and the prices are completely different and the quality that you get out of them is completely different. And I believe that still the DJI MAVIC Air is still the best drone for the price versus quality debate, and I'll just tell you why right now. Okay, so whilst I've not actually owned any other drone apart from the MAVIC Air, I've not had a Spark, and I've also not had a MAVIC Pro. The price difference between the new MAVIC Pro 2 and the DJI MAVIC Air is pretty much double, and then if you want to get the Fly More combo and all that stuff, you know, the price keeps going up, and I don't believe that the quality difference from what I've seen in other reports, articles, videos online, the price does not justify the quality for it being double the price. Now obviously the drone is better, don't get me wrong, the MAVIC Pro 2 is better than the DJI MAVIC Air, which is obviously why it's priced higher, but the difference in price I do not believe it's worth. And then if you're going downwards, if you compare it to the Spark is priced, I believe right now at £499 or £459, and that's only a couple of £100 cheaper than the MAVIC Air, but the MAVIC Air is by far better, and bizarrely it actually folds down to smaller size, so you get a smaller drone for better quality, which I'll get onto all that in just a moment, but let's just take a look at some of the specs for just one moment. So in terms of the MAVIC Air, it does record at 4K and 100 megabits per second, exactly like the MAVIC Pro, the MAVIC Pro 2, and all the new drones that they have brought out, apart from obviously the ones before, the Spark, etc. They do record at the exact same quality. However, the sensor size on the new MAVIC Pro 2 is significantly better. So it does provide better dynamic range, and it does also have the ability to record log footage. So obviously that's what you're getting better out of the new MAVIC Pro 2. But in terms of the actual image quality it produces, it's pretty much the same, to be honest. Obviously, to the untrained eye, you probably can't tell the difference. If you're a professional drone flyer and you're obviously going for that type of thing, then obviously go for the MAVIC Pro 2 or the Zoom. But if you're just using this to make some videos, YouTube, you know, just as a hobby, whatever, to the untrained eye, as I said, it will not be noticeable. So the MAVIC Air is definitely by far the best drone, in my opinion, for price versus quality in that debate. Now, the next advantage is the size of the DJI MAVIC Air. I mean, look at it. It's tiny. There's my hand for comparison. And then I'll even get my phone. It's literally, this is an iPhone 7, it's not the big one, it's just a normal iPhone 7. Now obviously if you fold the Spark down, which you can't, it would be smaller. However, it's not possible. So the fact that these arms fold down and then obviously fold out when you need to fly them, it's just an incredible feature. And especially for someone who travels, this will literally fit in the small case that it comes with and just straight into my backpack and takes up hardly any room. And there's a little pouch on the back of the case, which you can actually pop the remote in. Not many people do that. It's a cool feature to have. The remote actually fits in there. So it's very, very compact. And if you compare it to the drones, which are obviously further in price, the MAVIC Pro, the MAVIC Pro 2, the Phantom drone line, all of them are significantly bigger, take up a lot more space. So if you are someone who travels and you want to use your drone, that is a huge, huge feature. And as I said, in 2019, there is not a drone that has come out which is more compact than this one, so it still wins in that front. The next advantage, as I kind of touched on before, is the competitors to DJI. And to be honest, there is none. Obviously, a few years ago, GoPro had a go with, I believe it was called the GoPro Karma, and
It was a good drone, but at the end of the day, no one actually stuck with it because it wasn't as good quality as DJI, and then obviously GoPro admitted themselves that it just wasn't good enough, and they completely pulled the plug on making drones. Whether they come back into it in the future, because to be fair, GoPro are an outstanding company. The GoPro series, the GoPro Hero 5, 6, 7, all of them, they're unbelievable cameras. So maybe in the future, if they did actually have a want to do so, they could actually get back into the game. But obviously for now, they were the biggest competitors and it didn't last. Every other drone company that's kind of come into the game, no one's really took them seriously because everyone is completely devoted to DJI, and rightfully so, because they are absolutely crushing it. So in terms of competitors outside of DJI, there's absolutely none that come anywhere near it. Now, another advantage looking at new drones that could potentially come out in 2019 as competitors for the Mavic Air, there's none that are being rumoured of. Now, obviously, rumours are just completely rumours. They're just, they're not facts. They're just rumours as they stand right now. And the only real rumour when you actually look online is the Phantom 5. Now, this rumour's actually come about because the Phantom 4 Pro, I think it's version 2, has been sold out for quite some time, and they apparently have no intention of restocking it. So obviously the rumours then spark that the Phantom 5 is going to come out, and obviously there's a release date rumoured. Again, this is just complete rumours, at the end of April, beginning of May. But in terms of competing with the Mavic Air, it's a completely different type of drone. That's more towards professionals who want to literally carry a big drone bag. Obviously, the Phantom drones are massive, so it's not actually going to affect the Mavic Air that much. The price will obviously be significantly more expensive, and it's not, as I said, as compact as this. Obviously, the image quality will probably be significantly better, so it is aimed at professionals that obviously do this a lot, whereas the Mavic Air is, as I said, aimed at people who like to travel, who just like to get a drone out on the go, send it up in the sky, get it down, put it in your bag. It's a very, very simple process. Now, let's just take a quick look at some of the rumoured, again, as I said, rumoured specs of the potential Phantom 5. So I've got wrote down here, the potential improvements are to the camera, just for quality. There's going to be zoom capabilities. Again, this is all rumoured. A redesigned body and obstacle avoidance, and that's pretty much going to be it. So they're just going to revamp the Phantom series and obviously make it a bit better, and obviously add the zoom feature, which we've seen in the Mavic series recently. So obviously it'll be a very, very good drone, but as I said, it's just not going to be in the same type of category as this one, purely because they're just two completely different designs and built for two complete different sets of consumers. Okay, so let's just quickly go through some of the disadvantages, because spoiler alert, there aren't that many. Now, the first one is one I mentioned before, which is the fact that whilst it records at 100 megabits per second, 4K, all that good stuff, obviously the brand new Mavic Pro 2, Mavic 2, whatever it's called, let me know the official name in the comments below. It does obviously record with a larger sensor, which, as I said, gives you more dynamic range, and it can record flat log profile footage, whereas this records Cine like D, which is still flat and does give you a lot of room for post-production with color correction and stuff like that. You can still get amazing looking footage depending on how you use the footage itself, how you color grade it. If you have LUTs, stuff like that, you can still get an excellent image, but obviously having the flat log profile will be a huge increase, and obviously the better dynamic range will preserve obviously a lot more detail in both the highlights and shadows, which is just amazing. But still, for the size of this drone compared to that one, it's still unbelievable. Now, let's just talk about the battery life quickly. Now, I don't actually have the official information on the other drones, but from actually using this, it says it has a 21-minute lifetime battery, but obviously, as everyone knows who uses a drone, it tends to be less, because the fact is you've got to power it up, maybe you have to calibrate the compass, all that stuff, and it's probably sitting idle on the floor for a couple of minutes. Then you send it up, take off, landing, all that stuff. You probably get about 16, 17 minutes out of it before you actually have to start thinking, maybe I should bring this back, because at the end of the day, you don't want to do what I done. I crashed my drone. That was kind of my own fault, but you don't want a drone to fly away from you. So obviously bear that in mind when you're considering battery life. It does say 21 minutes, but that doesn't mean you can take it off and fly for 21 minutes and then think, oh, I'll get it back to me. Do be careful with your drone. Have the 30% warning and get it back to you when it reaches that level. And to be honest, they are the only two disadvantages really, so it's still pretty decent, to be fair.
All the talking's done, it's all unboxed. Let's head outside, get some footage, and let's try not to crash it. But by the way, don't be expecting any amazing footage. It's quite boring around here, and last time I flew my drone, I only had it 1 week and crashed it, so I'm going to be quite careful with this one. But let's head outside anyway.
So obviously I just said I was going to take it out. You would have saw a couple of clips, but I don't have the proper ND filters yet. I have an ND4 and an ND8 and it's not bright enough. I did have an ND16, but obviously when I crashed my drone, the ND16 was on that drone, so I do need to replace that. So that is the first tip I'm going to give. So rather than give footage, I'm just going to give some tips for first-time flyers. Get some ND filters. The one I use will be linked down below in the description. It just means you can keep that cinematic look. You can keep your shutter speed with the 180 rule, which basically means your shutter speed is double what your frame rate is. So if you're recording 24 frames, you're going to have it at 148th or 150th, which most people go for. So obviously having ND filters allows, because if you have your shutter speed at 150th, it's going to be incredibly bright, and if you travel and stuff like that, it's going to be bright outside, so you do need ND filters. So that is the first tip. The second tip is for when you're first time flying, just fly very, very basic. Use one thumbstick at a time. See what happens when you push the left one up, left one down, left one left, and the left one right, and then do the same on the other side. And then once you've got a bit more comfortable with what all the buttons do, how you can control the drone, how it feels when it's in the sky, because obviously wind does become a big factor, then start using both. And then once you've got comfortable with that, then you can start thinking about what shots you can do, how you can obviously make the subject, you know, you can start using your drone how you want to get cinematic footage. But when you first go out with your drone, as you would have seen in the footage, just fly it straight, fly it up, fly it down, and then obviously start to move it from side to side and stuff like that. Then try and figure out the gimbal with the thing on the back of the controller, start moving that about, and then once you're comfortable with all of that, then you can start thinking about getting amazing shots with this drone. So to answer the question, do I think it's still worth it in 2019? I do, purely on the fact that for the price and the quality that you get, there's no drone that's coming close to it. Obviously you can get better drones, but the price is double and stuff like that, and there doesn't seem to be anything so far rumored to be coming out which will challenge it, and obviously other competitors, there is none. So I do still believe that this drone, the DJI MAVIC AIR, is worth buying in 2019. If you did like this video, be sure to let me know by leaving a like. Put any comments or questions down below in the comment section, and if you are new around here, be sure to subscribe to the channel. The travel vlogs will be continuing after this one, but thank you all for watching, guys. Till next time, goodbye.